So I've just built this real estate slash property investment agent, which is super simple to make. And what this thing is going to do, so I'm going to give you a quick demo, and then I'm going to show you how to build this thing from scratch. So you can go sell this thing to real estate agents, or you can even sell this thing to property investors, because this is going to make their life 10 times easier, which means you can charge them a lot of money for it. So stick around, grab a coffee. I'm going to build this thing from scratch. So quick demo, what this is doing is grabbing the Zillow API, which is like a property listing website. It then cleans this data up a little bit, puts it into a spreadsheet with all the top properties that are based on the criteria that we put in this edit field node here. It then uses this AI agent to work out which ones are going to be the best investment for us. It's going to work out cash on cash, ROI. It's going to give us an investment opportunity score. It's then going to send us an email with the top 3 properties for that day. And it's going to look something like this. So as you can see here, it sent me a real estate daily update report. This is for Houston, because a lot of my audience actually are in America. And then it's give us the top overall properties to look at, and then it's give us properties that actually have a negative cash flow, so we should probably avoid these. Then give us the market averages, so the average cap rate, the average cash on cash, monthly cash flow, and then it recommends the next step. So it's saying prioritize due diligence on top performing properties, reassess pricing strategies or expense structures for properties with a negative cash flow. And we can even add a step into this where it'll go and book in viewings to go and see each property. But for now, I'm going to keep it super simple, and I'm going to build this thing from scratch. So the first step, we're going to add 2 triggers to this thing. So we're going to add a trigger manually, just so we can actually test this thing, and we can go in and press it whenever we want. And we're also going to add a schedule trigger. So we go to add another trigger. We're going to go to on schedule, and we're going to leave it as 1 day, and it's going to trigger at the hour on midnight. So I'm just going to put these side by side. And then the next node that we're going to add is a edit fields node. Now, don't let this confuse you. An edit fields node is basically just to tell the next step, which is when we use the API to go and grab data from these property listing websites, what things we're actually looking for. So if we're looking for max price, minimum price, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. So we're just going to fill these fields out now. And the way we know what to fill these fields out with is we're going to go and get the API for Zillow. So this is Zillow. It's an online like property market. We can list houses for sale or for rent. But in order to get an API for this, you actually have to apply for it. It actually takes a few weeks, but don't worry. I've got a little cheat code for you guys to get the access to the API straight away. So we're going to go to this website instead. We're going to go to RapidAPI, and you're going to want to make an account, but we'll do that in a second. You're going to go to API Hub, and then you're just going to search Zillow, and we're going to go to this second one here, the one by Sabri. And then it's going to give you your API key. I'm going to have to blur this out so everyone doesn't run up my API key, but we're going to need this API key in a second, so make sure you copy this and put it somewhere. And then we're going to go to this, we're going to look at the endpoints. The endpoints are, what specifically we're using that API for. So we're going to go to search, because we're going to be using the search function for this. And then we're going to go to parameters, and parameters, don't worry, big words. A lot of people don't explain this properly, but parameters are just like the things from the website that we want to go and grab and use inside our agent. So we're going to use things like location, and we're going to use things like max price, minimum price. So we just scroll down a little bit. So we see this price max. And we also have price minimum. We're going to grab these. So when we're inputting these in a minute, and you'll see what I mean, make sure we have the fields exactly the same. So no capitals or anything, or make sure we put the underline here. Otherwise, this isn't going to work, but you'll see exactly in a minute. You've got to do it exactly the same. So the first field we're going to add is location. So we obviously, want to know where the property is. So for the purpose of the example on here, the location is Houston, Texas. So we're just going to put Houston, Texas in this field here. And we're going to drag these in a minute once we put the next one in. And then for sale, so whether it's for sale or for rent, so we're going to put status. So we're going to put it exactly as it is there, status. Then we're going to add another field, and we're going to put price min, another field, price for max. Then we're going to put, and then let's have a little look at some more. So let's look for bathrooms. So baths max here, we can see in baths min. So let's copy and paste this in. Baths min, I'm going to put 2, and in price max. So this is what we're, max willing to pay for a property. So I'm going to go 400,000. Price min, let's go with 150,000. And we're going to put for sale. So let's just make sure we're putting this for sale correct. So how do they spell it inside here? So they put for with a capital S, sale. So let's do it exactly as it is there, for sale. And then we can have a look and see, is it a multifamily property? So let's have a look here. And then we're going to use this one. So it is multifamily. So I'm just going to copy and paste this, add another field. And with these ones as well, because these are numbers, we're going to change these to number. Same with this one. And then for multifamily, we're going to put true. And then we're going to click out of this. This is going to be enough for now. And then the next one, we're going to add the HTTP request. We're going to add a HTTP request node. And then the URL we're going to use. So this is the URL. So it is Zillow56.p.rapidapi.com. So I'm going to copy and paste this in. I will just, you can just look at it in the video if you can't find it inside the Rapid API account. We're then going to add an authentication. So we're going to add a generic type. We're going to add a header auth, and this is going to be our API key. So I'm going to add new credential. We're going to put the name is going to be this here. So it's going to be xRapidAPI.host. We're going to go back. We're going to put this in. And then obviously the API key is going to be what is below it. So I'm going to change this API key, so there's no point trying to run it up. And then you're going to press save. I've already added mine, so we don't need to do this. We're then going to send some query parameters. So this is what we want the API to go and grab, essentially. These are just going to be exactly the same as what we put in the edit fields now. So first we add location. So we're just going to test this to grab these and put these through. The next one was price. So we're going to run the node and test it to grab some data. So we're going to do location, and then the next one was status, then price min, price max. So let's do that. We're just going to add these as separate queries, by the way. So it's going to be status, and then add another one, price or min, and then add parameter, price max. And then we had, what was it? It was BAFS min and is multifamily. So BAFS min is multi-family, was that how it's spelled? Let's have a little quick look. Yeah, so that's correct. So let's try this now. Let's execute the step. So the URL isn't working. Have we put any spaces in by any chance? Let's try. So it doesn't like this URL for some reason. So let's try and have a little look. Let's see if we got this wrong. It's because we didn't put the HTTP request before. So let's copy the whole thing. Try that again. See if this works. Okay, so the issue was we forgot to put this search question mark at the end, but it's working now. So as you can see here, we've got these come through that we put in the last one, and this has automatically filled them out for us, which is perfect. So we've got some data coming through now. Just copy this URL as it is, and then we now need to drag this location into location. We now need to grab this status and put it into status, and then we need to do the rest for the rest of them as well. So price min, price max, and then BAFS min. We're going to add 2 is a multifamily, true. And then we're going to execute this step, and we should get loads of data coming through now. So yeah, so obviously we've got like 40 something pieces of data here, I think, maybe more. So we now need to clean this data up because, we don't need all these things like lot area unit. We're going to need some of them like price change, price for HTTP. These are irrelevant to us. We don't need all this data. So we just want to clean it up and only select the piece of data that we want out of this and feed that to our AI agent. So next, in order to clean this data up, we're just going to add a split node. So we're going to go split out, and we're going to leave it as results. We're going to drag these results in here, and we're going to put no other fields. Let me execute this, and we now have 41 items coming through instead of about 100 on this side. So that's cleaned it up quite a bit, and now we've only got like relevant pieces of data. So now we're just going to add another edit field, though, because we want to get a little bit more data from this API that's pulled through in order to make good investment decisions. So we can pick some of these. For example, this one where it says there's one called Zestimate, which is like the estimated rent that Zillow suggests that they might charge this property. That's useful data to us. So we want to map this into here so then we can feed this to the agent so it's got enough data to make decisions, because what we give it before, when we did the first edit fields, we just give it like location, bathrooms, price min, price max, which isn't enough data for the agent to make a good decision. So now we've got this data back from Zillow, such as address and everything like that. We can now map this out and give it to the agent in a much better form. So let's do that. So first we're going to do address, and it's going to be a string, and the value, because we've got like it split up into city, we've got like zip code, country all separately, we can aggregate this into one sort of field instead of having the address all separate. So I'm just going to open this box up here, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on this, and we're going to drag these fields into it. So we're going to create add a field. We're going to drag street address first, so it's going to be street address. We're then going to do, I don't know, you guys in America actually format adjusted, so it'd be zip code next, I think. Then we're going to do state afterwards, so it's going to like that. And then we're going to do, we can do country as well. So country, USA. So let's do that. So now we've got all these under one form now. So it's going to look like this. So we look at it, you can see the full address like that, which is much better than them all coming in a separate piece of data, if that makes sense. So the next one, status, home status for sale. We want to know whether it's for sale or not. So we're going to put home status, and we're going to drag this value in here for sale. We're going to add another field. It's going to be size. So put this as size. And then because we have these square foot separately, so we've got the measurement and the actual lot area separately, we can do the same as we've done with address. We could put the lot area value and then we could put the unit next to it so we know exactly. So then it's going to come through looking like this. It tells the exact square foot. Going to add another field. Let's add price. So the price, let's look for that. So here's price. Add another field. We're going to do rent. Now, Zillow doesn't actually explicitly say this is a rent estimate, but that's exactly what it is, where it says Zestimate here. I think it makes sense. Zesty actually means something else in the UK, but let's not get into that. Then we're going to add 3 more fields. So we're going to do price reduction. So we want to know if it's been recently reduced in price. So we're going to do price reduction. I'm going to drag this one in here so we can see it's been reduced by $5,000, price reduction. And this will come up red sometimes as well as, you know, not all properties would have a price reduction, but we want to know if it has because it's going to indicate to us that this might be a good investment. So we're going to add baths. So it's going to tell us the number of baths we've got. So we've got 2. And then we're going to add bedrooms. So we're going to put beds, drag this in here. And then that should be it for this node. So let's execute this step. And here we go. We've got some data coming through. So we've still got 41 items coming through if you look at the table. So the next node, this is just so we can do our calculations. So we're going to add a code node. Now don't get scared because it says code. I'm going to give you this already wrote, but basically what this code is doing is working out all the calculations that a property investor might do, such as ROI on property, the cash flow, net cash flow, cash on cash, the cap, you know, the market averages, things like that. So you can see here, I've just put it in. So it's going to tell us, you know, the interest rate, the long-term closing cost percentage, maintenance rate, property tax rate. So this is all information that we want to work out essentially. The number of monthly payments, the mortgage, and then this just formats it in a way that the agent can easily understand. And then what we want to do, once we've got this information, we then want to fill this out inside a Google Sheet. So we're going to go Google Sheets. We're going to do append or update row and sheet. And then you're going to create a sheet. I've already created this, but we're just going to go, I've created one called real estate deals. I'm going to do it from scratch, just so you guys can see. So I'm going to go to sheets. Don't want to leave anything out for you guys now, do I? So let's just show you from scratch. So I'm going to do real estate test. So let's call it. And then we're just going to back out of this because it probably won't refresh. So let's just let it refresh, go back to it. We're going to leave this as it is. We're going to choose a list. You can see it here, real estate test. Oh, I accidentally opened it up. Just going to select it, and then sheet 1 is just like what it automatically does. So just select that, and then we're going to map these manually. So we're going to execute the previous nodes, and then we're going to map them automatically. So I'm going to keep all these because these are what I actually want to look at. So I'm going to map it automatically, execute step, and then we should see this Google Sheet get filled out with all this data here. So let's have a look. And there we go. So we can look through the sheet. We can even give the sheet to AI and, you know, get it to refine this data even further. But it's got all the best properties. It's got the rent estimate, down payment, the interest rate, the loan amount, the costing amount, total cash required. All the values we want basically to look at whether we should invest in these properties. We're not done just yet. We then want to add another node that goes from here. And this is going to be the AI agent node. So we're going to add AI agent. We're going to do define below, and then we're going to add another node. Now, first of all, we need to clean this data up in order for the AI agent to understand this. We need to add an aggregate node, and we're going to put individual fields all into one data list. So it puts all this data under one list for it to understand. We're then going to add an AI agent. So we're going to add it here. And we're going to define this below. And then we're just going to go to this add option here, add system message. And this is just to make sure it knows who it is. So it doesn't forget who it is. It said, you're a professional real estate investment analyst, generates concise daily reports, gives it its role, basically tells it, you know, you keep it concise, use the date and time in this format. And this thing is almost ready to go. And if you just want this thing ready built already, I'll leave the link to my Skool community below. We can get this template just ready to plug and play. You can download this without all the hassle, but I did want to show you guys. I didn't want to, you know, hide the source from you. I want to show you how to build it from scratch as well. But you want to take, you know, a quicker route, you can literally just download this thing straight from our Skool community and it'll be ready to use or ready to go sell to businesses. But let's execute this step now and test it. So we haven't given it a brain yet, so that's why I'm getting this error. So we need to give it a chat model. So we're going to use OpenAI because that's the one I like to go with. And then we can use any of these. 4.1 mini is fine. So we'll leave it as it is. We need to give it a memory, a simple memory of 5. And then we're going to do this as defined below. And we're going to give it the key of data here. We're then going to give it access to the Gmail tool. So we're going to search Gmail. We're going to leave it as send message. We're going to put your email in here. So we're just going to use my email. And then we're going to press automatically select. So we're going to turn this to text as well. If you don't want the email coming through as HTML, you can leave the message as automatically defined by the model. And then we're going to execute the step. Oh, wait, we need to go back and we need to execute this. And then this should work from here. So it's saying the email has been sent. So let's double check this thing actually worked. And as we can see, it has sent us the email that I showed you at the beginning of this video. So this thing works beautifully. And it's a super simple build. So there's not much technicality to this at all. I'll give you the prompts for this. You can go build this yourself. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can sell this for a lot of money to people. If you want more videos like this, drop them in the comments and I'll make them for you. So see you guys in the next one.